right for your body. You know, everybody's a little bit different. There is no one right way to do anything with any type of food because everybody's body is a little bit different. So you just got to figure out what's going to work for you. And a lot of it is mental, you know. It's a good thing though. Okay, so I brought some of my Tupperware, tomatoes, the beets, the onion, the chicken, the tuna, the whatever I'm going to put on top. So one of you asked about how much should I have for protein or carbs and fat. So when you add more vegetables, if you find you're having too many carbohydrates or things like that, you can call it crowding out. So with crowding out, you want to add more of the greens, your vegetables and stuff. So you're not giving up anything. You're just sort of, you're building up the greenery and all the maybe plant-based things, and you're crowding out some of the proteins and the fats and things that might have been on your plate instead. Like at Thanksgiving is a perfect example of crowding out. So when you go and you've got the whole spread, you've got your stuffing, your mashed potatoes, your sweet potatoes, your green bean casserole, your onions, your turkey, your whatevers, right? If you put your whole plate with a whole bunch of everything, that's good, it's going to taste really good, but you're going to be so full you're going to be in a food coma. But if you added more greens, like you plucked on the greens, the healthier things,
fiber,
you know, a little more, and then you'd have less room on your plate for the other things. So kind of crowding out the ones that you know you may not need as much, but filling your plate with the ones that are going to fill you up and you know they're a little bit healthier and lighter for you is a good idea. So you're not really getting rid of anything, you're just sort of crowding it out. You're making room for the good stuff, okay? But Tupperware is amazing. So make sure you get the microwavable kind so you can warm up your foods depending on what it is. And then some of them even come with the little inserts, you know? So if you're doing a salad here and you're like, you don't want things touching, you know, some people don't like their stuff to touch. You can put your carbohydrate in here. And it's just this wonderful little small area. And then you can have all your greens or your veggie or your meats and protein on this side. So it depends on what you're trying to do, what your goal is. But it's kind of nice. And then this guy, it's got two spots for two different things, you know. So your protein and your protein could go in here, your carb could go in here, and all of your veggies could go in there, you know. So and it gives you that visual, gives you that nice visual of how much you're getting. And when you pack your lunch, that's what you got. So it's kind of nice, you know. If you go to I don't know they do buffets so much at lunchtime, but remember when you ever go to a buffet, and it's hard not to go back twice because you're like, I'm paying for it, you know? I gotta fill my plate up at least 2 or 3 times. So if you pack your food, one, you know what you're eating because you made it. You know, you didn't get it out. A lot of times if we go out to eat, it's full of things that we're not really sure about. We don't know what kind of oils or butters or whatever they put in there or what anything additive. So that's where if you ate out all the time, you may put on weight, even if you're trying to make the healthiest choices, because we don't always know what's going into the food. But if you make it at home and you can make it homemade, you're halfway there. Like that's a huge help if you like to cook. If you're not a big cooker in the kitchen, that's okay, because now they've made those steamable vegetables. You can just throw them all in the microwave, and it's just fast and easy. So there are a lot of options out there to do. So with that said, me and I were like, what can we do for our first one? So everybody, picture yourself at home, okay? Now open up your refrigerator door. What's in there? What's in the fridge right now?
What condiments?
Condiments? Okay, like ketchup and mustard and barbecue sauce and mayonnaise and all that? Okay. Sandwich meat? Okay, like turkey, chicken? Uh-huh. Okay.
4 pounds of spinach.
Ooh, wow, not 7 pounds of spinach, all right.
Four, not 7, 4.
Oh, 4 pounds, okay. I'll take that in a bag, okay, yeah.
Well, no, it's like 3 of the pound, or 4 of the pound containers.
Those boxes.
Costco.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then tomatoes, mushrooms.
Any protein?
Well, I have Greek yogurt in there, and then I have all my chicken's in my freezer.
Okay.
So
What's your plan with all those vegetables?
a lot of salads because I like salads a lot.
Okay,
And then
okay.
with the spinach, I can do olive oil and then cook it down if I wanted to have it as like a side. And then I also have like yellow squash and zucchini and then a spaghetti squash and yeah, so
Okay, guys.
slicing and
Hi,
cutting.
guys. Hey, welcome, guys. Awesome, come on in. Just grab a chair and and it's cold. So cold, sometimes you don't want a salad because it's a cold thing. But if you're good with salad, that's good. That's really good. I did something easy on Friday night because I knew Monday it was going to be so cold. So I bought cauliflower, carrots, onions, tomatoes, and I forgot the chicken broth or the bone broth. It actually called for bone broth. But I got home and I had, you know those soups that come in the box? It was the butternut squash.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll use that as my base. So I poured that in a pot and I added 2 cups of water and I cut everything up and I smushed it all in there. I just let it boil down. Oh man, it is so good. And then I added chicken on top. So then you have a healthy, light soup. But you could have added anything you wanted to it. You know, it's just about the base. Like what else can you add to give it a little extra flavor? But that worked out really well and it's nice and warm. And then you can add or take away whatever you want during your weekdays. But a salad the same way. You can add to the salad, you can take away from the salad. You know, you can kind of do whatever you want to do with that. And portion sizing, it's kind of up to you and what's your physical daily activity look like. You know, if you know you're going to be not so active, you're not going to make it to the gym, you won't get your 10,000 steps in that day, you may want to kind of slow down on the things that you're eating because you won't need as much energy that particular day as you might if you went to a spin class this morning and then you were lifting the day before, things like that. So thinking about your day and how your portions should be. But we typically, it's always the healthiest to eat a carb, a fat, and a protein all at the same time. Because if you only eat a carbohydrate, it's going to spike your blood sugar. It's a carbohydrate, okay? So if it spikes your blood sugar, what's going to happen? You're going to crash. And then you're going to want more carbohydrates. You eat again, and then you spike it, and you crash again. So it's kind of this yo-yoing effect. But if you get the carb, fat, and the protein all at one time, it'll stabilize the blood sugar, so it'll help keep you fuller longer. You won't have that craziness during your day. You'll be a little bit better off. You'll feel a little bit better, a little more stable, you know?
That is something that is basic nutrition. I think that we need to remember all throughout our life. The 2 mistakes I often see in weight loss or weight management is number 1, people think that they need to starve, and they think that they need to be a hamster in a wheel. So when we are designed, there's so much perfection with us already. And I brought you something today in a Tupperware box, which is going to surprise you. Well, I brought 2 things. I brought my lunch bag, which I now have. I think this one is 6 years old. It's an old timer. The one before I had for a few years. I renew them. And in there, because I know what it feels like when we're not prepared, so I learned I need my food so I can feel comfortable and be strong.
And your lunchbox might not be as big as this lunchbox, but you know.
So because I'm very economic, I use bottles to freeze them instead of cooling units. And then I cooked, I think it was Sunday afternoon. I made 5 boxes of this. These are, this is pasta with spaghetti sauce, and there's vegetable in it, it had olives in it, it got Parmesan cheese, it got spicy sausages cut out, and it's just, it has enough, the macronutrients, which is a big story. It's got the carbs, it's got the fat, and it's got the protein. So when you consume this, you have a sense of satiety afterwards, and it's a good portion. It's not too much, it's not too little. Nobody tells me that I have to eat this all at once, because when I go to my desk, sometimes I have a few bites, and then 45 minutes later, I come back to it and have another few bites. So my point is that when you go into these 8 weeks, you need to know that you're perfect already. No matter what any numbers on your scale say, you are perfect. And when I was thinking about this course and what we might cover today, Jill and I, we spent 8 weeks together. That's a lot of energy, it's a lot of attention. And our goal is that in 8 weeks you leave and there's something there that wasn't there before, that you were sparked to improvement. So when I was running on the beach, all of a sudden, where did it go? Oh, there it is. It's a feather. And you know, a feather inspires us, you know, to feel lighter, to feel free, to spread our wings. And I always feel that heaven smiles when we spread our wings, symbolically. And when you look at this, often I find shark's teeth too. There's nothing wrong with this, and it's the same with your design of your body, with your engineering. And when it comes to nutrition, it is truly something that you do from day 1 when you're born to our last day. So it's worth investing into that relationship and to finding solutions that work for us. Perfection is overrated. You're all busy. You all have many things to do. So being prepared and some of us like to plan ahead and meal prep 5 days. Some of, there's not one fits all. But what does fit all, or what the common denominator is that your body works tirelessly on your behalf. Your energy systems, your muscles, etc. You are a machine that compares to nothing you'll ever purchase, like your car or your rockets or helicopters. I mean, I don't know what you own at home, but your body is really the one thing that wants you to trust into it. And macronutrients, to tie it back, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, we talk about this much more in other sessions. You can only do so much. Today is the practical part, to plant a seed into this garden of these eight weeks. But to give you an example, when we have the no fat or the no carb, it hasn't helped. By now, 67%, well, that was 2020, maybe it's more, 67% of Americans are either overweight or obese. So it doesn't get better no matter what we put on the market, or fat-free, or any particular diets. So how about we come back to nature, and we honor what the body needs, and we do not starve. How about we feed it, and how about we are content and have what we need, and how about this? We have energy throughout the day, the physical energy, the posture, which makes it so much better to make good decisions throughout life. It sustains us, it makes us happy, and there's a spark. And that spark is just like this feather was perfect, so are you perfect, and there's no limit. The sky is the limit. And what we learn in these 8 weeks is a little bit of practical input and a little bit of science and encouragement to find more into the middle. I talked too much.
Oh, that was all good. Totally, absolutely.
So,
but feeding is a good thing. You know, and it's a mindset. You know, you go on a diet or you want to lose weight, the first thing you think of is, I can't eat. I gotta cut back. I gotta. You don't gotta. You gotta just think about yourself. Oh, no. Well, we're coming to your office for lunch. But think about this stuff that maybe you haven't tried before. And it's hard, because some of it you're going to buy and be like, oh my God, that's terrible. But you bought a whole bunch of it, you know? So, yeah. But looking for fiber, those kinds of things are important. Because fiber, it helps our digestion. It slows the digestion down a little bit. It's part of the carbohydrate. Like how many of you guys eat bread? A loaf of bread? Okay. When you pick it up and you look at the label, you want to make sure there's at least 3 grams of fiber in it. And the fact that it says whole grain, whatever, okay? It's got to say whole grain. If it says enriched flour or bleached or whatever kind of stuff, it's just been processed a whole lot. And so it doesn't have, probably not going to have any fiber actually if you look at it. So the whole grain, the whole whatever it is really important. Try to stay away from the enriched stuff. But fiber is important. So think about your refrigerator and what you got in it. Think about the protein, the fat, and the carb that you could put together into this guy right now. What would you put in there? Okay, you've got salad. Okay, so you've got Greek yogurt, you've got chicken in the freezer, right? Okay, so how would you put the 3 in here if you were going to take it for lunch tomorrow?
So I would do the spinach with the tomatoes and the mushrooms, and then I would have one of the little baby Tupperwares of dressing.
And they make little ones. They're super cute.
Yeah, they're like this big around. And then with either balsamic vinegar and oil, or like a low-fat raspberry vinaigrette, and then I would do a piece of grilled chicken.
Okay, there's your protein.
And then for the oil and the
oil is fat.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Now, if you know you're going to be extra busy, you did a spin class, you're going to go lift the next day or whatever, you may want a little bit more complex carbohydrate, because the greens and the tomatoes and all those are wonderful carbohydrates, and they have fiber in them too. But energy level wise, it may not give you that oomph that you need. Okay. Especially as you start losing weight, because they're great. You're cutting back on the major carbs, but your brain needs those. You know. So if you had like a sweet potato and you cut it in half, and you chunked it up and put it in your, or roasted sweet potatoes and onion or whatever, and just chunked a few up inside, you may feel a little more satiated and you'd have a little bit more energy for the day. Because the salads and the protein, and you're getting your carb and your protein, your fat, and the dressing, but energy level wise, that's something you just got to balance out. As you start going down your path and you start making your foods and you're bringing your lunches or your dinners or your whatevers and your breakfasts, you have to kind of gauge yourself and how much energy you're feeling off of what you're eating, you know? Because if you're feeling tired a lot, maybe you're not getting enough, for sure. Maybe you're a little bit dehydrated. Maybe you gotta add a little more water into your system, okay? But everybody in here is completely different. Our bodies run a little bit differently. We're all going through different times or have been through different times in our life, and so everybody's got their own niche. So you just have to think about it. But listening to your body, being open to listening to what's happening, because a lot of times we don't listen. Like our body tells us we're smart. It's smart. It heals itself. Man, we do crazy things and it bounces back, and we're like, wow, we didn't even have to do anything. We just got up and we're breathing. But our body will tell us what's going on. We just have to actually listen to it. You know?
It even goes a little further. The inner narrative that we have, our thoughts, our theater of thoughts, the body has every thought is like a little bit of a chemical trail. And sometimes in weight loss is one of those fields that has 1,000 preconceived notions that get fed to us maybe by the media or by information. Simply what we should come back to is like, my body is perfect. And Jill touched a very important subject. It's that awareness, that connecting. When we're born, we inherently know and have a sensor how much we need and what we need. But we all live very busy lives these days. And it's very important, which also connects to the subject of stress management. If you take scientifically all the diseases, all the causes of death, etc., find a little bit of a nutritional aspect in that. You'll also find a little bit of stress management in there. So nutrition, fitness, health, all of this, we in our life almost owe it to ourselves to kind of find in this enigma, in this wealth of information, which is often intellectual. We are talking to you on a level of mind right now, of information, and you take it with you. But what we also try to achieve is to connect you to that part of you that knows everything it could possibly know, and maybe preconceived notions that, such as, what would be a preconceived notion? Not eating late at night, or what would be one? For instance, here's a good one. Fat is bad. We think fat is, period, we shouldn't eat it, right? It's something there. Or you shouldn't eat certain foods. When you go to a birthday party, we all eat cake. Someone will say it at the end, I'm gonna get on the treadmill tomorrow, you know? No, I don't want to think of a treadmill right now. I want to eat my cake. I want to enjoy it. It doesn't come with any kind of judgment about it. And so unless we reflect on that, we find, oh, actually the food doesn't care if it has any kind of value attached to that, because really, we should eat our 3 meals and 3 snacks, and we should have a dessert once in a while and take it in stride. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I meant by that. To connect to the awareness, and everybody, like Jill said, is very different. And it's not the thought or the knowledge that suddenly, oh, I got it. Oh, rocket science, eureka, I know what to do. No, it's your experience of a positive experience that is your very motivator to prioritize and maybe make lunches or manage your stress or have time for yourself every day, or to have calm times, you know, where we're not busy. All of that, my point is, it's a journey. It's not like, oh, I did 8 weeks, now I know it, everything's perfect. Your experience, your life is the spark, and it's already perfect. And for you to blossom, that's what this is all about.
And calories, so knowing yourself too. So we have put on here for nutrients, so 40% carbs. This is the typical, maybe, not for everybody, but 40% carbohydrates to give you the energy, 30% protein, and 30% fat. So if you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure, that might be too much fat for you, okay? So this may not work out. So you just have to remember that not one diet fits all people. So these numbers will change a little bit. Maybe your carbs become 50%, because maybe you're very active, you're biking, you're running, you're doing all kinds of things. You need that energy, okay? Your protein is, so this is 50%, maybe this jumps to 40%, because maybe you're lifting and you're doing everything, you know, you can do to keep your muscle tone and all that kind of stuff. So maybe you need a little extra protein. And then the fat drops to 20%, okay? Because we need to keep our arteries and everything going and cruising through. So it just depends. So nothing is really set in stone. You know, snacks can be 100 calories to 300 calories. A meal can be 400 calories to 700 calories. It really just depends on your body. But one thing that I think was an aha moment for me a long time ago was portion sizing. Because if we do nothing, you know, there's so much information. It's like, I don't know what to eat today. If you don't want to change anything, that's okay. Just maybe cut back in what you are eating right now. And the one I told everybody, because it's so easy, you know, you go to Subway, you give you a 12-inch sub. The best thing to do, right, is like cut that puppy in half, put it away, like store it, don't even look at it, and then eat your 6-inch sub, drink your big old thing of water, and you're probably gonna be just fine in about 30 minutes, right? The hardest part of that is putting it in the bag and putting it away. And just knowing that in a couple hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, you can eat it again, it's fine, it's right there. But your body can process it, it can burn it off. When we eat too many calories at one time, our body's like, okay, I'm good, man, I'm just gonna store it. I'm gonna plop it wherever it needs to get plopped, you know? And if you're trying not to have that, you don't wanna eat anything too much at one time, because then your body can't burn it off. And you feel sluggish. How many of you guys have gone to lunch with, I don't know, girlfriend? Like, when you start talking, you just start eating. And so you'll eat everything. And then you're like, after lunch, you're like, now I'm ready for a nap. Yeah, yeah. So you know you've had the perfect amount of food when your day just goes, whoa. Because you get back and you're like, man, I feel good. Like that song, I feel good. I'll play that on Thursday. You guys ever come in? I feel good. It's amazing.
It's a great song.
But that's how you want to feel after you eat. You know, if you feel sluggish or you don't feel right, it could be the foods that you just ate, or it could be that you just ate too many of the foods you just ate. So kind of weigh that out. See how you're feeling, because your food will tell you. You know, how many of you guys have ever had a food allergy? Yeah, what was your allergy to?
Peanuts.
Peanut? Oh man, like the I can't breathe allergy, or just kind of.
It's more of an intolerance.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So it
Yeah.
causes me to break out and then have stomach issues afterwards.
Ah, gotcha, me too. Oh, such a bummer, because peanut butter is freaking amazing. Oh, it stinks, yeah, but peanuts are moldy, and I can't eat mold. So, because they grow in the earth and they're a little bit more, now, cashews, almonds, we're okay, right? It's just the peanut. Such a bummer. Oh man, I was a peanut butter fanatic. That was like my thing. Sweet potato, warm it up, slap some peanut butter on top of it, or almond butter. Oh my God. So good, so good, and so easy. So no, try not to overthink your foods. It doesn't have to be complicated, you know? That's a great snack or a great lunch. And it's easy, and it can be warmed up, or you can eat it cold. Either way, doesn't matter. But just, so for kind of this in the session, trying to get back to portions that fit your body and what your activity level is, you know? If you have a number in your mind that every day I need to eat 1,400 calories or 1,500 calories, then divvy up the day and make sure you're not eating more than 400 to 500 calories at one time, because I guarantee your body can just, it'll keep burning them off. It'll keep burning it off. And the plant-based diets, we had a question about that. We'll go a little bit more in depth with that. But for right now, so a lot of people would choose to go more plant-based because typically they have a health issue. But if you don't have a health issue and you just want to be healthier, it's great, because meats typically will have more fat, especially red meats will have more saturated fats. They're a little bit heavier. Your body doesn't maybe process them the same way it does a normal carbohydrate or greenery, that kind of thing. It's just different. So depending on your body, if you want to get away from the meats, but you do need the protein. So it's some research, trying to get in there and figure out, okay, if I'm not going to eat any kind of meat and things like that, where am I going to get my protein from? Now there's always traces of protein in any kind of green leafy vegetable and broccoli and all. There's a little bit of protein in all of those things. But sometimes you just want your protein. There's a lot of protein powders out there that are plant-based. They make pea protein, hemp protein, all kinds of proteins now. There's like 50 billion proteins out there.
I think I'd like to give you guys some homework.
Yeah.
Everybody has been weighed in, correct? And you received your folder. In that folder, that has the overview, there's NavyFitness.org. And in NavyFitness.org, I want you to research the nutrition, go to the nutrition tab, and there's a meal builder under the Navy Operational Fitness and Fueling series. Because it's an eye-opener. And Jill said, for instance, overeating. There's often a story to that. For instance, if I didn't eat breakfast, and at lunch I'm hungry, I eat so much I call it the anaconda effect. You know, when the anaconda eats a whole deer, it curls out for 2 weeks and just like this. with your exercise, there's such an optimum available that I know you want that, and I know you want to feel that, and you will feel it. It's right now just intellectual information, but this program is so complex with the classes we teach. You also hit on the intensity. I know that Kira and Brooklyn have already joined forces with, what was your name?
Evelyn.
Evelyn as well, with Ethan. And he is the master of his art to teach you lifting skills and then layer on the intensity. That's what you need for your body to really charge through, so your human growth hormone sparks up, and then your body will have a different metabolism of, or Jill's spin class. Be brave. Go to you'll make it through. It's a fantastic class. It has, I love your class. I just love that class. It just helped me last year for the Nordic Mind. Just one second. So you need all those components of fitness, and you need the relaxation and the recovery. We get very busy in our thoughts, or I keep stretching that point that we have so much to do. And then often we find, you know how we put kids into timeout? We need a timeout. So people tell me after yoga class, oh, this is so nice, it feels so great. That's nice, but it actually has a very science-based effect. We're switching from our flight or fight into our rest and digest. And the solution, the creativity, the resolve you find is kind of like the water in your garden sometimes, because you make decisions almost like, you know, when hypnotists try to help people not to smoke, you're at a level with yourself where the information that you have takes root, and it gives you the forte to make better decisions because you know it's intrinsically important. So that's why we have Wednesday, Friday, 11:30 yoga, because you will relax, your breath rate will change, your parasympathetic branch, I love saying that word, will just spark up, your vagus nerve will be happy, and then all of a sudden you're so at ease, and you feel that, I almost want to call it that love. You know, you feel like, wow, I want to take care of myself, you know? And it's that kind of motivation, I think, that will get you all the way to the finish line.
Right? That was deep, but this is a whole thing. This right here is a whole thing, of course, but Leah taught, but she touched on some stuff that we'll touch on later too, because that goes deeper into why the decisions we're making of our food and how we're living our life and the stress levels within it and those kinds of things play a huge role. Our parasympathetic nervous system is like, it's amazing. If you ever, if you're, you know, always going around, your hands are always cold, like your extremities are typically cold, you're probably, your parasympathetic system is probably always in that fight or flight state. Yeah. You're not allowing yourself to calm down.
To be there.
And to be. And so that is a real thing. It's a real health issue, okay? But there's things we can do to settle it down. So it's kind of interesting. I was listening to somebody this morning, I was like, holy mackerel, oh, makes sense. So there's a lot that goes into our eating, to ourselves, to knowing ourselves, and how to be able to relax ourselves, to get out of that situation, okay? So I think any questions on portion sizing, macros? We didn't really go into exactly how much you're supposed to be eating exactly, but we'll go into the size a little more too. So any questions for like what we've covered today? I want to put you guys through a little stress relieving moment.
Yeah, I have a question. I don't know if this is the right time to ask, but I have two questions. One, I have the, I think it's MyFitnessPal app.
Oh, yeah.
Probably everybody's heard of it. I have the free version though, to count the macros and whatnot.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any suggestions on one that's free that allows you to like log and do everything? Because this one you have to pay for if you want like all the benefits of the app. It's like $20 a month.
Oh, wow.
Does anyone know if it's something
Oh,
that's
thank you.
easier, better?
Everyone that I've seen is either you're gonna pay up front or you're gonna pay monthly. So like there's some.
I know
where you
that
can-
Carb Manager is having a sale right now, and I paid $29 for the whole year.
Oh, that's not Carb
And I
Manager.
did that
Is
for
that
free.
right?
So what do you get if you pay for it?
It breaks up your macros and
And
everything.
you get the benefits of the whole
Yeah.
app. Carb Manager.
With fitness too, does it throw fitness, your activity level?
Yes, it does. It actually syncs with my Fitbit, and so
Okay.
and then that way it tells my Fitbit what I'm eating, and it subtracts calories and how much
Yeah.
more I can eat and all that other good
That's
stuff.
what the fitness. Okay.
So you can try it for free too, because I did Carb Manager too, but I didn't pay for it.
Okay.
And it gave me a little cute little graph of all the carbs and stuff, so try it for free first.
Okay.
And then if it's not giving you exactly what you want, the 29, that's way better.
Yeah,
than
it's-
That's actually a really good deal.
It's on sale right now,
Whole
so.
year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the MyFitnessPal, I don't know if this one does, I guess I'll find out. But one thing I found helpful was like, I would log all the stuff that I was eating and it would be like, whoa, this is wrong. You're eating too much of this. If you take this out, you'll be in balance.
Oh, wow.
Because you don't really know, like, I'm eating peanut butter and avocado, but those are like heavy in
Too high
fat.
fat?
So if I had too
Yeah.
much of that stuff that I didn't know, so.
Yeah,
that's good.
that's good.
And
That's
the second
great.
question I had was, grilled and ready, like frozen chicken, I love. It's so easy, but it's like got a ton of sodium in it. How do y'all feel about that?
Anything processed, honestly.
I know, it's so
just-
easy.
It stinks because you pick it up, you're like,
It makes you
1,400, you know,
It makes
milligrams
you
of
thirsty.
sodium. Well done.
Makes me
Yeah,
thirsty.
a
It makes
lot
me
of-
thirsty.
Anything that's processed, that's in a bag or a box or whatever,
Yeah.
check out the sodium level. And honestly, just, if you just bought chicken breast.
Yeah,
and
meal
you-
prep.
You
Meal
split it,
prep. I
and
know.
it's not hard, it doesn't take that long, especially for chicken, because it cooks pretty fast.
Yeah.
Still a pain, but you'll feel, and your body will be so much happier, because then you're adding your herbs and your whatevers, you know?
Last question, I'm
Yeah.
sorry guys. Last one.
There's no
Uh,
bad
it's
questions.
good.
There's no bad questions.
The
No.
season, okay, so how do you feel about the Mrs. Dash seasoning? Can we just like douse that puppy in just our seasoning?
Yeah,
and be
she's
good?
salt free, I like it.
Cause it's salt free, so I'm just like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mrs. Dash is my favorite. too.
okay, cool, cause that's what I have to do, otherwise I can't just eat it like
And it's
that.
everything all combined, so it's kind of fun.
Alright.
Yeah, yeah,
Alright,
for
that was
sure.
it, I'm done.
Good
I have
job,
a
good
question
job.
for you guys. So by the end of the week, how many classes do you think you have taken from our group exercise or connected to a trainer? More than 3, raise your hand.
Well, we
We
just started.
just started.
This is
No, by the end of, if you're planning.
Oh,
plan
yeah,
out.
oh, yeah.
I'm like, how that?
I know, me too.
Oh, that's good. So anybody less than 2? I like that very much. I like that.
And I know
very,
some
very
people
much.
have, like Peloton at home, but, you know, it's cool, man, it's cool. That's awesome.
Hey, I mean, if you want a break one day, we can stream it to the projector.
Right? That'd
I
be
can
so
totally do
fun.
that.
That would be so
Oh,
fun.
that's great.
Those are
Yeah.
fun.
I would like to give you some more homework, if I may.
Yeah,
Before we break for today, may I give you some more homework?
Okay.
All right.
And it's voluntary, you don't have to do it. So what I'd like to ask is that every day you make time for 5 minutes and just sit quietly and breathe, have no expectations. And you don't need any, you're just quiet, you can do it outside or inside. And then also, combine to nutrition, the exercise, we're living in this vessel. And we need stability before we move, right? That's what not hips, toes, or shoulder. So I would like for you to start today, and you can log it or not log it, but to hold a plank for 30 seconds or a minute every day. And it checks, it helps you to connect your shoulders to your posture. And the modification would be you can lay flat and lift just one opposite leg arm and down, engaging. So I want you to do that Pilates, core yoga, whatever you call it, physical therapy, just holding a plank and connect to your posture, because posture is physical, but it's also somewhat, I don't want to say mental, emotional, all of those. You know, our posture, our confidence, our trust. That's a very important part to make those connections. And when we breathe, and when Joe's going to take us to the next step, that happens. And posture is all day long. When you do a spin class, you need posture. When you sit, you need posture. The only time you don't need posture is when you're laying on the ground and sleeping. So we want a plank. And I want to hear next week how it went. I want to ask about this. I'm going to follow up. I want to find out where you live. I'm going to call you. You'll find it.
Okay, so this is a breathing technique. So I'm gonna have you sit in your chair, sit nice and tall. You can do it laying down, sitting, but since you're sitting, just sitting up nice and tall. This is from Andrew Real, he's an MD, but he was an MD who studied medicine, did the whole thing, but then went into more integrative medicine where it was trying to figure out what was healthy for people so they didn't have to pop pills. If they had anxiety, what can I do for them so they're not taking all these medications? And so he created this 4-7-8 breathing technique. And you only do it 4 times. We're all starting this. So even me, okay? So you can do it up to 3 times a day, but you never want to do it more than 4 times, this particular round that we're going to do, okay? But what it does is it just calms us down. If you ever, like are driving down the road, you've got road rage on someone, start breathing. Because truly, it's amazing what the breath does. It calms us down. And I honestly have never tried a breathing technique consistently. So for me too, let's like do this together. We'll just, one big group hug of breathing, okay? So what you do is you're going to take a huge breath out, clear it all out, And then inhale 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4, hold 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out for 8. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And breathe normal. So that's something, do that a couple times a day. I know it kind of, to me too, I'm like, what does that do for me? But it is written and it is proven in this person's book because he came up with this idea and he's a doctor and there's a whole book on it. Like, there is something to our breath. Mia, probably you already know this information because this is what you've
The
done.
breath is beyond, when we are born, we inhale, and when we leave, we exhale, and we never stop breathing. When you go underwater, you find out very quickly that you want to breathe, and we do it as part of our automated systems. And there's 3 things that can happen. You breathe in, or you breathe out, or you hold the breath, right, on the bottom or the top. Those are things, but the magic, it can do so much, and science is after this right now. This doctor and many, many doctors, there's so many clinical studies, medical conferences, research is done, because we're running out of options. We need some help, we need something to connect. And when you look at, I love talking about this subject, how there's a neurotransmitter, it's called the gamma aminobutyric acid level. And when you do this exercise, just one, if somebody would analyze your saliva or your blood, would trace a change. It's the same with the other 2 kinds, with all the things. There's so much chemical processes in our body happening. It's called life. It would be no PhD, no doctor, no Stanford University could ever do justice what your body's doing on your behalf. And the more you connect to it, the more freer you are. You find like, because the more you have, you already have everything. And when we're kids, we're kind of ungrateful, and then we grow up, and we find more and more what you really love. And the more we treasure life, the more it's out of the question that we wouldn't bloom on all cylinders, We want to be not just here struggling, trying to get up. We want to be and, fly. That's what we really want, And that's what we're here for, quite honestly.
But it is a real thing,
And the
there are
breath.
changes that happen. So just try it throughout your day, or if you're having a moment where you're just getting kind of wound up, you feel yourself because of job and chief and whatever are coming at you, take a second and just, nobody has to know you're doing it, Just try it. Just see what happens, Kind of interesting. I'm just curious. We'll talk about this next Tuesday, so I want to get my test buddies.
I want to do it every time. That was so great.
You're pretty good at this, we're working on it. No, but thank you guys so much for being here and joining us. If you have any questions or anything, let us know, because we'd like to discuss them next week too. Okay? That'd be awesome.